the Detroit River this morning with our Captain Nick Kamai and his friend John Bailog. Detroit is, I think, one of the top 2 urban fisheries in the United States. People come here from all over the United States in the spring to catch the spring walleye run. Probably the best chance of catching a 10-pound walleye is going to be right here in the spring in April into May. And now this is not what you would call, pristine wilderness fishing. We've got huge factories in the background. Just over here on the other side, we've got enormous ships going up and down, big ocean-going freighters and big lake freighters moving up and down the river. But every year, this river gets a run of 5 to 15 million walleyes. And here comes one of them right now, on schedule. That's kind of a typical Detroit River fish. That fish would be good the size of 2 or 3 walleyes put together in much of the country. Lake Erie, just to the south of us a few miles, about 5 miles down the river. Here comes Nick's just hooked one too behind you. Here's another big walleye. Coming up. Follow hook.
You got it.
Got him? Yay!
Of course.
Man, fast. John knows what he's doing. John's done this before.
Oh!
Yep.
Best eating fish of the day. We have a rubber worm, which mimics a minnow. We don't want nothing with any kind of curvatures, no like twisty tail, something just straight down that's gonna flow through the water real nice and smooth. We dropped our line down until we hit the bottom. We hit the bottom, lift up about 7, 8 inches off the bottom, go down, up and down. If you feel anything different in the line, a tick, a bite, it gets stuck, you gotta set the hook as hard as possible. Trying to drive that hook inside the walleye.
Now you try to keep the line vertical.
Straight up and down. The most important thing in walleye fishing, jigging, the line has to be vertical. If the line isn't vertical, the guy next to you catching 100 walleyes and you're here the whole entire day and you won't catch one fish unless that line is straight up and down.
The bulk of these fish come from a huge spawn, an enormously successful spawn in 2003. They make up probably about 1/3 of the fish in Lake Erie right now. And everybody's a little concerned because since then there's been one sort of good spawning year and then a couple of years when the spawn has actually just failed almost entirely. What happens is you'll get a really good year of spawning. A few years later, say 4 or 5 years later, you've got some spectacular fishing out of that. But once you run out of those fish, you better have some more on the coming along the way. That hasn't happened. The thing they found about walleyes now is that the really good spawning seems to follow years when they've had a very cold and late spring. This year we've had the cold and late spring, so everyone is hoping that this is going to be the year that gives us another huge spawn. And those will be the fish that when the 2,000 year class starts to die off, these will be the fish that will carry us through another 3, 4, 5 years.
That's a Detroit River special.
The biologists won't know that until they start doing their netting surveys later in the year and they start looking for young of the year fish, these baby walleyes. And that'll give them an idea.
Yeah, this is probably a big muskie. Big
walleye! Wow! Oh, it is a big one.
I told you.
Look at that.
I told you.
Holy smokes!
This is what we've been looking for.
That's what you've been looking for.
Unbelievable.
That's what you've been looking for. Here.
Nice. Look at that. He's got a lamprey scar on him.
Holy.
That's a big walleye.
There was no way you were telling me that was open.
I wouldn't have believed it.
No, I wouldn't have either.
Nice fish. Nice fish. Oh, I forgot to kiss it. I learned that from Jimmy Houston.